Hello everyone, my name is Jerry and welcome to the channel for Lost Souls. Before I get started, just to clarify, I am not a minister or preacher or an authority on God's will. I am simply an individual who is still reading the Bible and learning myself. As I discuss these topics in any of my videos, it is to share what I am learning and maybe help others gain some insight into some of the same confusion that I have had before I started learning more about God's will for us. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Sabbath day and much of the confusion that I have had about it in the past, such as what day of the week is it supposed to be and what is expected of us during the Sabbath. There's things I've knowingly done wrong, things I didn't know, and things I was unknowingly getting wrong. There's been lots of debate or talk through the centuries about what day of the week the Sabbath actually falls on. There's been various reasons for different interpretations, including individual beliefs in what the calendar was back then compared to now. Some have interpreted readings from the Bible in line with the days that Jesus had died on the cross and was resurrected. There is also many who believe that it was switched over to Sunday, but there has never been any factual evidence of it, leaving it with individual interpretation or opinions. It was written somewhere that in the year of 312 AD, a Roman emperor named Constantine passed a law forbidding most work on Sunday, which led some people to believe that his law was a legitimate change for the Sabbath. Many may already know that God rested on the seventh day, and that was the day he gave us as our Sabbath to rest as well. As per his will, the Sabbath started at sunset on the evening of the sixth day and ended at sunset on the seventh day. Myself, I decided to skip all the ifs, ands, buts, or maybes and go with the current calendar, honoring Saturday as the seventh day of the week. So I began my Sabbath on Friday evening at sunset and ended on Saturday evening at sunset. As I mentioned in another video, I am not Jewish or Catholic or Protestant or belong to any specific church or religious deity. I consider myself a child of God, and I believe that God's will applies to all of us on this planet. The Bible is not like the legislature, where entries can be amended to suit some people's preferences, just like the Ten Commandments that were written in stone. God's will was spoken and written for everyone on earth. The way I see it, there's upwards of about 8 billion people on this planet right now, and each of them will choose to abide by his will or they won't. We only have one crack at this to get it right, and while we're alive on earth, I can only hope that I have enough time. As I noticed when reading Exodus chapter 16, 25 to 30, it goes on to tell about the people that went out into the field on the Sabbath day to collect food. But the Lord told them in verses 29 and 30, "See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the sixth day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day." So the people rested on the seventh day. I have no choice but to believe, since he said, "Let no man go out of his place," that we are to stay home and not go anywhere during the Sabbath. I'm not going to believe that we can justify with any excuses to ignore God's will, just because we live in a modern era. It's easy to abstain from cooking during the Sabbath, but we have all these modern amenities, like running water, electricity, coffee pots, and microwaves. We also have furnaces and hot water heaters, along with televisions, computers, and cell phones. It can all leave some confused in what is right from wrong on the Sabbath day. Myself, I won't cook anything during the Sabbath, making sure that I have enough food prepared to last until sunset on Saturday. I will brew a pot of coffee and dump it into a big thermos, but I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do cheat and I make another pot of coffee. I have read that the Jewish who practice a strict Sabbath will not even use any electricity, some not even opening their fridge door. It really is all about the individual who will interpret modern technology and use their own judgment. The Bible tells us not to prepare food during the Sabbath, but doesn't really cover anything for our modern homes in the 21st century. The commandment states, "Remember the Sabbath, keep it holy." Those 3 words, "keep it holy," From what I have been reading, it simply means that we drop all our own pleasures for those 24 hours of Sabbath and focus on praising God and what He does for us. Throwing aside our TVs, computers, game boxes, and cell phones during the Sabbath, doing nothing for our own pleasure. This is still a challenge for me, but for some young people, I would imagine it may seem like a punishment. But aren't our hearts supposed to take pleasure in getting closer to God? Thanks for listening. May God bless you.